there's been a rise in more and more lads feeling inadequate or not good enough. But psychologists are putting this down to something they call wounded masculinity. It's caused by the gap between how we feel about ourselves as men and what we believe it means to be a man in an ever-changing society. Is there still pressure to be manly? What do you think? But, Tommy, I'm going to come to you first because you're a boxer, the most manly, masculine sport on the planet. But do you feel that there's pressure outside of the ring to be that guy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, with what I do, it's most masculine, like you say. So you can't be showing any form of weakness. But I think, you know, there is still a pressure because there's that much like influence out there. You know, you've got social media and, you know, there's all different types of what man you should be. And I think people, you know, who aren't boxers, who don't do masculine things, like they feel a pressure to do them things when they shouldn't. You know?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw you stood over there at the top of the show, I thought, that's the body of a man. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
Let's be honest. Absolute rig on the boy. Martin, you grew up in the 80s where we talked early on, everything was really fluid. Masculinity really wasn't top of the agenda.
No, absolutely. I'm really proud of the way that I grew up as well. You know, I was going to clubs, seeing those new romantic days when boys were kissing boys, girls kissing girls, people cross-dressing. But everything went and it was completely fluid and it was really beautiful. And I'm really pleased that I grew up like that and I could pass that kind of vibe down to my kids, you know. But I think as well, nowadays, a masculine man is different. To me, a masculine man is a man that is in touch with his feminine side and he's bold about that.
All right, well, here's the definition of masculinity. It's defined as qualities and attributes regarded as characteristic of men. The term refers to the roles, behaviours and attributes that are considered appropriate for boys and men in a given society. Masculinity is constructed and defined socially, historically and politically rather than being biologically driven. There you go. Paul, you said that you played snooker or pool a lot to define your masculinity as a gay man.
Again, it's the thing about being gay. For a start, I come from a very different background. I was expected to be a doctor more than anything else. I could be as masculine or feminine as I liked, as long as I became a doctor. That was the only important thing. And so I didn't feel pressure to be masculine based on my background or my upbringing, but based on the fact that I was trying to be in the closet for as long as possible and not give the game away that I was gay. And so I wasn't laddish with a capital L, but I was blokish in that I could...
So kind of a disguise, is that what you're saying,
exactly.
in a way?
I didn't want to give off the I'm definitely gay, not back in the 80s. It was a very different era, except for pop stars. You were at it hammer and tongs at some point. and so I'd focus on the things I was quite good at. So I used to be really good at pool, so I'd play a lot of pool just to prove to people that a gay man could play pool. I've always felt that I was trying
in a masculine environment?
Yeah, I would go to pubs in the area and play for money, even. And it made me feel really sort of thrilled to be doing that sort of stuff. We're all products of how we're brought up. But I think that, as you say, the world is changing all the time and there shouldn't be a pressure to be masculine according to other people's ideals. Do what feels right for you. We're all flawed bundles of cells and tissue that are packaged in a certain way and we're all unique. And if you don't try and be unique in life and be yourself, then you'll always fall short of what it is you think you need to be. That's the thing.
Yeah. Nice. So, Tommy, going back to what you started the conversation with and referring back to what Paul has just mentioned, there is a lot of pressure on young men because we do follow young men. We do follow. I mean, young gentlemen do follow social media where we do see fellas looking absolutely fantastic. They might use a filter or two with a rippling six-pack and the shoulders. I'm not describing you, but that's how you look. But, you know, there is that certain pressure to meet a certain standard, you know, so it must be difficult to kind of forget the masculinity side of things.
Yeah, it is. You know, social media is it's took over the world, and wherever you look, there's different types of influences. But, you know, the moral of the story is you should be happy within yourself. Don't try and be something you're not. Whatever you are, be happy with it and take pride in it, because that's what you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Martin, why do you think from the back end of the 80s where everything was, you know, like you said, really fluid and the glam rock thing came in and it was really extravagant, why do you think that disappeared and tapered off? And then we went into the 90s where it was all Britpop and rock and roll and then lads?
Because everything is kind of every pop generation is in contrast to the last. It's kind of like it moved on from punk, which was all about chains and no future, into new romantics, which was all about ambition. So everything changes. But I think the place we're at the moment is really good, and we are bringing society together.
Nice, lots of building blocks there.